Hey guys, how's it going? Today is Monday, November 27th, 2023. This is Monday after Thanksgiving. The custom crew that harvest our corn, they have the combine. They're combining down the road here today. They're hoping to finish up and move in here. We have some high moisture corn to do. We're gonna fill 2 ag bags, and then we also have some corn that's drying down. It's below 20%, and we like filling ag bags when it's around 20 to 25, I believe. If it gets too dry and you put it in the bag, it don't ferment. Now, it doesn't get through a fermentation process like haylage or corn silage would, but it does go through a little bit of one. It doesn't create gas or anything like that, but it still does ferment. It changes color a little bit, but if it's too dry, like I said, it won't ferment. So I think we're gonna sell that corn if everything goes all right. I don't know, we'll see. We need at least 2 bags, at most 2 bags, to feed the cows because we have a bunch left over from last year. They're hoping to be here around lunchtime or a little later than that, working at feeding and some other stuff until they get here. I gotta put fuel in the skid loader here and also need to grease it. Last week I went and bought me one of these. It's a Lumax electric grease gun, battery powered. Also got one of these Lock and Lube quick couplers for it. Always wanted one of these grease guns, electric grease gun. We've had a hand pump grease gun for the past I don't know how many years. At one time we did have an electric grease gun. It's still over there, but the batteries were bad on it. So then we just started using the hand pump all the time. And if you're greasing a lot of stuff, that kind of gets kind of tiring. It'll eventually hurt your wrist. Lately I haven't been greasing things like I should be. I really haven't had time. It used to be I greased the skid loaders and the feed mixer and feed tractor every week pretty much. Never usually missed it, but now I'm milking a lot more. It's kind of hard for me to do. With having a grease gun like this, I think greasing things will be a lot funner and a lot faster. Got a tube of grease in here. I just put my quick coupler on and we're gonna take her out there, try to get this skid loader greased up, see how she goes. Now, this isn't the most expensive grease gun out there, electric grease gun, but I don't think it's really the cheapest. It was one of the cheaper ones. Got it on Amazon. It was on sale. I don't know if it was something to do with Black Friday or Cyber Monday or anything like that, but it was like 60% off, I believe. So I thought, you know, that's a good deal. Milwaukee and DeWalt grease guns are pretty popular. We don't have Milwaukee and DeWalt power tools. We have a Milwaukee Sawzall, and then there's a DeWalt saw back there, but they're corded tools, so they're not battery powered, so I'd have to buy extra batteries and stuff. This here came in that pack with a battery and a charger, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. Normally you have to buy them separate and stuff. Until you buy all that stuff, it adds up pretty good. I mean, yeah, I think it'll pay for itself. We're about to find out, I guess. Seems to be working good. It's nice having this quick coupler because a lot of times with your standard coupler, the grease pushes out around if it's hard to get into places and that, especially if something hasn't been greased for a while. We had just finished feeding the heifers, and my dad went down to our neighbors to get his dump truck to haul corn here whenever they come. Normally the custom crew that has a combine that does the harvesting uses their lime truck to haul here to the bagger, but I don't think they weren't so sure that they'd have somebody to run the truck. So our neighbor usually hauls with his truck, and then they haul with the lime truck. That's usually how it goes, but our neighbor can't haul, so my dad went down to get his truck. My dad's got to run the neighbor's truck whenever they come to shell. My pap's got to come and help with the bagger and stuff. So we'll see how things pan out here. I'll let you guys know whenever they show up and try to get some video. Right now I'm working on this Gale skid loader. It's got oil leaks down inside somewhere, down in the belly of the skid loader. I have no clue what's leaking, but it's leaking a lot of oil, I will say that, and it's gotten worse. If you remember this summer, it had a leak down in there. We got it fixed, and then there for a while, there was no oil laying under the skid loader where we park it. But now there's a big puddle there, so I'm gonna jack the cab up. I got the bolts taken out. It has a jack here. You just stick a jack handle in here off a bottle jack, and then I might have to pry up on the cab. For some reason the cab's a little bent up or something, and it don't sit down perfect, and you end up having to pry it up off and pry it to get the bolts down in there. So there we go, we got the cab up in the air. It goes up to a certain point, and then there's this big hydraulic cylinder here that the jack will be connected to, and once it gets up so far, this here piece comes down in to lock it, so you don't have to worry about it coming down on you if there's a leak or something, which that jack does have a little bit of a leak there, so it's nice that it has that. I just cleaned this out down in here, and it's terrible dirty again, and that is bad. So that'll make it even more difficult to find the leak. Just finished up the milking and feeding here. They started earlier here this afternoon. I believe it was around, it's close to 1 o'clock whenever they got started with the bagger. The first load, we found out that the auger that takes corn up into the bagger had come apart, and we got to looking and found that what caused that was the flighting had actually broke on one side of the auger. Where you set the auger down on the ground, there's a flat spot there where the grain runs into. It's a big thing there on the end of the auger, big hopper. That's the word I was thinking of. I couldn't think of the word. And then the auger takes from the hopper up in, and when you set the hopper down on the ground, it had actually cracked the flighting there because it wasn't made out of very heavy metal. Brand new bagger, but it needed welded on, so hurried up and got the tractor and generator, hooked them up, and got the welder, and Dad got it welded back together. And then they got going. It took about 45 minutes to do that, and then they had to put the auger back together there. I think it had sheared the key off or something there, and it was just a big mess. So finally they had gotten going. They had been combining before that, so they'd stopped combining because I think everything was full of the grain cart and the combine both. And now it's 5 to 6, and they have a little more than half of a 200-foot bag done, 8 by 200 bag. They're bagging over here across the road beside the corn silage bags. So I gotta go over and grab that tractor, put that stuff in the shed. In case we do get any kind of weather tonight, I don't want the welder or the generator sitting outside. So after I do that, we can go over and check the bagger out. I apologize, I didn't get much footage. It was when it was daylight, we were working on the bagger, and then I had to come to the barn and milk, and by the time we get done milking, it's dark out already due to a time change, and the days are shorter now that it's winter, which kind of sucks. Well, just pulled the old girl into the shop. Put the generator back there. I'm gonna take the welder off the generator here and put it over here in the corner where it belongs. The back lights we never got working on this tractor, so I just turned the shop lights on that has front lights. Couldn't really see to back it in the shed over here, so I just figured there's room here in the shop, so I might as well just pull her in. silage. This here bagger is different than the one that they use for corn silage. The one they use for corn silage is just a bagger, and this one here is a bagger mill. So basically it's a hammer mill and a bagger. The corn goes up through that auger there into the hammer mill. The first part of the bagger here is a hammer mill, and then from there it actually goes into the bagger itself. Years ago they didn't have such a thing, so you had to have a hammer mill. From there it went into the bagger, so you had to have two tractors, one tractor for the bagger, one tractor for the hammer mill. But now just got one big machine, but you have to have a big horse to run it though. So the Challenger does a pretty good job, I believe. I'd have to look, I'm not sure what model it is, but I believe it's around 200 some horse. I'd have to look that up, but I think one of these baggers requires that much horse to run it. We used to use our tractors, but like I said last year, it would just tear them up so much. We'd have power takeoffs going out and all kinds of different stuff. The tractors just weren't meant for that. They didn't have enough horsepower, and just doing stuff to them internally all the time. And yeah, didn't need that. Now the tractors, they don't get quite as many hours on anymore as what they used to, because we don't pull type chop, or we don't pick corn ourselves anymore, or any of them things. So it's basically just hay and tillage and plant corn, and then feed the cows with the one tractor. So they don't rack up the hours like they used to. When they first start the bag, the tractor sits in park until the end of the bag gets full, and then as it gets filled up back there and starts pushing against the bagger, put the tractor in neutral, and it just keeps packing it and slowly pushing the tractor forward. So all you have to do is just steer the tractor once in a while to keep the bag straight. It just sits here in neutral, and it pushes, the bagger pushes the tractor forward to make sure it's nice and packed. You can set the pressure back there so it can pack a little harder or a little less denser. It all depends on what you want. You can't have the pressure set too high, but you want to have it set high enough that it's filling the bag nice and full. That way it's good and hard packed, and it's not getting oxygen into it when you're feeding it. See, we only feed about 2 skid loader scoops out of this a day. I think it's roughly 700 pounds in the milk cow ration, so we're not feeding a whole lot. And in the summertime it can get a little hot, especially if there's some laying there loose. It's kind of important to have it nice and packed, just like I said, to keep the oxygen forced out of it. But you also get a lot more in the bag too. This here is only an 8-foot bagger. I think they have 10-foot baggers like this, but like I said, all the more we feed, we couldn't keep up to a 10-foot bag without it spoiling, especially in the summertime. The wintertime it's not so bad, but summertime it just we wouldn't be able to keep up. So the 8-foot bag works pretty good for us. Years ago we chopped our own silage. Didn't have quite as many cows back then either, I don't think. Filled an 8-foot bag back then too. 8 foot by 250, I believe, is what they put over here. These other silage bags, they're 10 by 250s. My dad's buddy Ryan's actually running the truck right there, and then Dad and I was milking while he was running the truck. This is the last load for the evening going in. They're quitting for the night. I believe it's a little after 7 o'clock. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it could be 10 o'clock at night, but it's just because of how dark it is, I guess. Yeah, this bag will be pretty full. I'll have to go out here a little ways with it yet. Maybe 2 or 3 more loads, I'm thinking. But that'll be tomorrow. I won't be able to show you guys any of that because I'll be at school, unfortunately. So head back after Thanksgiving break. It's definitely gonna suck. Hey guys, how's it going? It is Saturday here now. This morning we swapped out tractors on the mixer. We always have the 2090 case here in the mixer, and we put the 2290 on it. I want to get this tractor in the shop and get the remotes fixed on it because they're leaking. You can see this oil right here. And then I got some stuff I got to redo the wiring harness. There's a couple places on the tractor where there's no harness. I don't know if it comes from the factory that way or not, but these wires run up into the cab. If I can, I want to get harness on those wires and take the top of the cab off and get up in there and get those wires in some conduit. I want to get this tractor washed up here today, and then I can get it in the shop. A couple other things I want to do to it, and then get it running like a top again. It's pretty dirty, as you can see. Got something I want to try out today. Got one of these here foam cannons. Put on the pressure washer. We'll see how that works out for us. Always use a product called Purple Power. Now the pressure washer has a hose that you stick down in here, and it has a tip to go on the end of the gun on the pressure washer to put soap on. But the problem is, whenever the pressure washer sucks this out, it dilutes it, so it's not full strength, and you almost need full strength to loosen up the grease and stuff. So if I put some of this stuff in that foamer, I think it'll loosen that stuff up on the tractor a lot easier, and I'll be able to get it cleaned up a lot better. It'll be my first time using one of these foam cannons. Never had anything like it before. The pressure washer has these different tips. That's what I was talking about. This in here is specifically for soap. It just sprays a fine mist on. But like I said, it's diluted because the pressure washer puts water in with the soap. It takes it in through this hose right here, and then it gets mixed with the water. This tractor sits outside, so it gets feed dust on it, and then it gets wet, and then it turns into this black stuff, and it sticks to the paint, makes the tractor look awful. So hopefully I'll spray it down, go with some water, get it soaking, and then give it a good foam, see how that works. I don't know if you're supposed to put the foam on dry or wet the tractor down with some water first. What I always did before was, whenever I put the soap on with the pressure washer, I would always soak the tractor down good, get all the mud, the grease, oil, all that stuff soaking good, and then spray the soap on it, and it would usually loosen it up. So I think that's what I'm gonna still do. I don't know. Let me know down there in the comments what you usually do. Hey, what's going on? It's actually a couple weeks later. I gotta finish off this video. I got this 2090 in the shop. I had said in the video I wanted to get it in the shop after I got it washed up. Got some things I want to do to it. I'm actually working at buffing the paint out on it today. It's looking pretty good, I think. I did this whole side of the cab around the windows, and this corner post here, I did it. I think it turned out really well. And then half of the roof there, I don't know if you guys can see or not the difference. So like half the roof from this side over I didn't do, and yeah, it's looking like a different tractor, that's for sure. It had been starting to rust here, getting some surface rust, but I had some really hard buffing pads that took that rust right off. I was pretty amazed how well it cleaned up. We got these here are like polishing pads, so they'd probably be like what you would do last. And then I got some softer pads here. I gotta go through with this yellow one quick, and then maybe the black one, and then use one of these soft polishing pads. Go over it all again quick. I have some sealant here. I'm gonna put that on the paint. Hopefully that'll keep it from rusting. And it says up to 12 months of protection, sharp luster finish, advanced UV protection. So this tractor sits outside, and just from the sun fading it, and just from sitting outside, it's starting to rust a little bit in places. I mean, it's gotta have rust. The tractor's like, this is an 81 model. It's almost 43 years old, so it's looking pretty good for that age. And it's the original paint too. This tractor has never been painted before. Hopefully it will keep the paint looking great. I mean, just look at that shine. I just can't get over how good that looks. Someday we might get some new decals from back here. They're looking a little rough. I gotta go through and do the hood yet. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Again, like I said in my last video, I apologize. I haven't been posting a whole lot lately. I know this week I just skipped 2 weeks in a row. My goal is to try to post at least once a week. But with school and milking all the time, it makes that pretty hard for me to do, because I need rest. I can't be going all the time. So I work on the videos when I can. I appreciate you guys' patience, and again, I apologize for the delayed videos and whatnot, not getting them posted as often as I'd like to. We'll catch you later. Have a good one.